There is only one logical conclusion here, and that is that the world needs Joe Rogan to sue CNN for, let's say, $1 billion. Now, these type of lawsuits are extraordinarily difficult to win, but it feels like, at least for Americans here, that this type of suit is required. And I'm going to make my plea to you, Joe, to strongly consider it. Now, look, if some lawyer tells you, I trust you'll have good legal counsel, that there's a 0 chance of winning, I'm not asking you to throw away your money here. But what I'm hoping for is, after last night's ridiculous double down, is that what the American people need is to trust our news. We need reliable news, okay? I understand that, news will be partisan, and I've accepted that. But when they go out of their way and just lie, admit they're lying, they get back on air and lie again, it's time for consequences. This is what they want, right? Consequence culture that they're always preaching so much about. Last night, international news reader Don Lemon, shout out to Mark Dice, doubles down on Joe Rogan horse dewormer claims, gets slammed, lying encouraged at CNN. Now, look, I know where most of my viewership lies politically. I know most of us don't trust mainstream media, in particular CNN, which is the most laughable of the 3 main news networks in terms of just outright lying. But this isn't about conservative or a liberal or Democrat or Republican. It really isn't. The American people need reliable news. And if we can't get it, then we need to unseat the oligopoly that exists in local news, an oligopoly that is perpetuated by my boss here at YouTube. There's a reason so many of you see Fox News videos after every single video that I upload. I don't trust Fox News any more than I trust CNN, but CNN seems the one most blatantly willing to lie. Don Lemon doubled down Thursday evening on his network's claim that the podcast host Joe Rogan had taken horse dewormer. Speaking to CNN medical expert Sanjay Gupta, Lemon said, "It's not a lie to say that this particular drug is used as a horse dewormer, and I think that's important, and that it's not approved for COOF." Yes, but that is not what they said. What they said was that he specifically took horse dewormer. They didn't say that he took a prescription, a human prescription that is also used for this. Look, prednisone, for example, I'm on it right now for a respiratory thing, okay? My dog took prednisone too. Am I taking dog medicine? No, it's the same thing, yes, but it's prescribed for a human, all right? Now, the pill, I think, is actually the same. You can get it both filled at Walgreens, but that's neither here nor there. It isn't dog medicine that I took. Correct. And that is correct that it's not approved for the COOF, Gupta responded. Adding, but there's still a few ongoing trials around it, but if you took the data, there's no evidence that it really works against the COOF here. As reported by the Daily Wire on Thursday, Rogan confronted Gupta over CNN lying about him with regard to the host taking it when he got the COOF. Rogan took the medicine after it was prescribed to him by a doctor, and he recovered from it in 5 days. The host made it a point to emphasize that he did not take horse dewormer, but a drug that had been used by millions, if not billions of people, though largely to treat internal waterborne issues. CNN and Don Lemon are pathetic. Journalist Glenn Greenwald responded to Lemon's commentary Thursday. There is zero ambiguity. They lied about Joe Rogan. They told viewers he took horse dewormer, a 100% lie. He took the human version of the drug prescribed by his medical doctor. But as I said, lying is not frowned upon at CNN, it's encouraged. There's huge supercuts where you have numerous news outlets saying that exact thing, that yes, he went down to the old Tractor Supply store and he picked himself up a new bag of fertilizer and some horse dewormer for himself. It's such a damaging, listen, I know where my viewers lie on the poke. Some have it, some don't. Some people have some strong opinions. Please, let's not let this devolve into that. My point is simply, when you are just going out of your way lying. Now, CNN could have just said, hey, none of these things he took are actually approved to treat the coof. But that's not what they wanted to do. They wanted to dunk on Joe Rogan, so they made up a lie. What does that lie do? Let's say hypothetically, and again, I'm no doctor, so let's just say for the sake of argument that taking this thing would be really bad for you, okay? What do you think is going to happen when CNN is caught lying and then doubling down on that lie? Don't you think that that's more likely to cause people to believe that, hey, maybe I should take this thing? Maybe there's something here. It's no different than like my parents telling me that herb was like this terrible thing, and if I enjoyed some of the jazz lettuce, that they'd find me dead in an alley with a needle sticking out of my arm. Guess what happened the second I had an opportunity? I enjoyed it, and I realized that, hey, maybe this isn't actually that bad. What did they lie about? Other things that maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe they shouldn't have treated, this thing that grows out of the ground like the same thing as like black tar, because it erodes your trust. When you espouse such an easily disprovable lie, what you do is you shatter the trust. And there are things that CNN says that are true, I imagine. Okay? But when you espouse such a disprovable lie, people are going to do the opposite of what CNN says. And I think that that's exactly why Joe Rogan needs to sue them. Because CNN is causing more harm, in my opinion, than good. I think CNN is more, and MSNBC to a lesser extent, are more interested in tutting down their nose at everyday people who may be afraid to get the poke or have their own reasons for not getting. They're more concerned with this perceived moral high ground that they have than with actually convincing people, with actually telling people. You know how I know that? It's because there are millions of Americans who are on the fence about it, and CNN would rather call them anti-vax. Okay? They would rather say that kind of stuff. They would rather say they're going down to the Tractor Supply store, getting some feed seed and some horse paste. That is what CNN is telling me they care more about. They would rather dunk on the idiot conservatives and regular everyday people than actually help and inform people. In an op-ed published at CNN, Gupta rationalized why he appeared on Rogan's podcast, apparently feeling the need to do so. The doctor claimed he went on the show to convince Rogan to get the poke, though Rogan has already had it and probably has antibodies. Ironically, during the interview, Gupta slammed Rogan for being set in his ways, unable to change his mind upon hearing new information and a different perspective. I guess a small part of me thought I might change Joe's mind about the poke, Gupta wrote. After the exchange, I realized it was probably futile. His mind was made up, and there was no way, and there would always be plenty of misinformation out there neatly packaged to support his convictions. Truth is, though, I'm still glad I did it. My 3-hour-long conversation wasn't just with Rogan. If just a few of his listeners were convinced, it will be well worth it. A fine position to have. During the same podcast appearance, Rogan tried to pin down Gupta on the low risk that kids have, illustrating why some parents do not wish to give their kids the poke. At times, though, Gupta stammered through the conversation, seemingly missing the point. And then they went on last night and put Gupta back on the air and put him through a struggle session, essentially. This is via the Post Millennial, an excellent website. Following the interview with Joe Rogan, what premiered on Wednesday, in which Rogan confronted the CNN medical expert Sanjay Gupta about CNN's coverage of him. They said he did say something about this drug, and that I don't think it was actually correct about CNN lying. Okay. This drug is commonly used as a horse dewormer. So it's not a lie to say that the drug is used as a horse dewormer. I think that's important, and that it's not approved for coof. But again, that's not what CNN said. They said specifically that he was taking horse dewormer. Here's a supercut from Tom Elliott of about 20 news pundits saying that exact thing. They weren't saying that Rogan took this thing that's also used for this other thing. No, they were saying as a medical fact that he was taking horse paste. And all this does is cause way more harm than actual good by separating Americans, by just outright lying to us. There has to be a penalty. This via Steve Watson over at Summit News. Pathetic CNN scrambles to sweep Rogan Gupta exchange under the carpet, except it's trending on Twitter again today. CNN's Don Lemon. It's not a lie to say that this is correct. If you look at the data, there's no evidence that it really works. Right. But here's the clip from Jim Acosta that Rogan was referencing. There's numerous clips where they come out and they say he's literally taking horse pics. Here's a clip.
You've had to debunk misinformation coming from some high places throughout this pandemic. Some of the latest Fox's Tucker Carlson, he's been defending the vaccine card.
Buying a corner severely.
Wait, where is this? Yeah.
We'll talk about on the internet.
Widely discredited livestock drug. They actually put it in text too. And there's a supercut with, everybody out there, basically every mainstream pundit saying that. Now, I'm not a doctor and I'm not offering medical advice, but what I am offering is advice to normal people who actually care about the truth. If CNN cares about the truth, then these people should be off the air. They should be issuing a formal apology. If not, well, then I would be happy to see Joe Rogan sue them into oblivion. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.